Alright, so here we're going to have a quick review of the Flipears Legion. This is a tri-bird IEM. It is one dynamic, one bone conduction, and one electret driver. I believe it's a piezo driver. I don't think it's a regular EST driver. It's not a Sony-on driver. And let's get into this. First of all, the box does look incredible. I love how this box looks. This is a very nice IEM, actually. I will say it right off the bat. I do really like this set. Let's open this up here. You have this little, like, envelope, like kind of fitting this theme, almost like, I guess, like a Spartan-like theme. In here we have the quick start guide, talking about, you know, volume levels to be careful about, you know, fitting it in your ears in all the languages. And yeah, I also really do like this, like, kind of fake wax seal. I think it is real wax, actually. It's just, you know, you can open it from the top. You don't mess this up. Anyway, let's get the case out here. Come on, come on. It is an absolutely massive case. This is definitely like a travel case, not like a pocketing case, you know, of course. And it is quite big. It is a nice case, though. I think it's nice. It looks nice, at least. And it's decent quality. And this here. And here we have the tips. And here we have the IEMs themselves in all of their gorgeous glory. These look incredible to me. I mean, I'm sure some people don't like this. It is very flashy, extra, very detailed, intricate. You know, this is very much like, look at these, you know. And I know a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people want something more understated. This is definitely not that. But, I mean, if I was to give an award for the best design IEM, this would be up there. Because this just looks so cool to me. I'm going to be honest. Like, this just looks really nice. And it's very unique, you know, it's doing something different, doing something special with the design, and I like that. I always like something unique, something different. Anyway, so let me take the cable off here so you can see it. It is regular 2-pin flush, not through. Oh no, I think it is recessed actually. Let me see. Let's find out. It is recessed heavily actually. Yeah, very deep recessed 2-pin. So it's quite hard to pull out. There we go. So the cable is solid. It's not the #1 cable I've had, but I like it. It is a little bit more like janky feeling than, like, let's say the what do you call it? What's that? Man, I forgot. Supernova, sorry. And the Supernova cable, so it's not quite as nice, even though it looks similar. But it is a solid cable. I like it. I think it's worthwhile for the price. It's not a problem. But it is not the best cable I've seen in this price point. But it's solid. It's solid. Also, we have this, I think is a QC card, most likely, or like, it's a magnet? I think it's a magnet. Never mind, it's a magnet. A little magnet. And then we have some tips. So this comes with a set of 4 sizes of its stock tips, and it usually comes with 3 sizes of Baroque tips. I lost 2 of them, so it does come with them though, and I do really like seeing an IEM company that actually includes like really nice tips, such as the Baroque tips. I think those sell for like $20 for 2 pairs or something like that, or even more expensive. So it is very nice to have a very high-end set of tips come with your IEMs. These are actually a pretty comfortable set despite its massive size. It is quite large and very thick, but surprisingly the shaping does make it comfortable for me in terms of size. So yeah, overall it's a decently comfortable set. Alright, let's put these tips to the side. Let's actually talk about the sound here. I actually did not use these tips when testing. And I didn't use the Baroques either, as much as I usually like Baroque tips. I preferred the sound with SpinFit CP100s, which are these over here. I did really like the way these sounded with these. I also liked it with the Baroque as well. The Baroque had a wider sound to it, much more separation, but I found the sound to be much more full and engaging on the SpinFits. I preferred it. Both sounded excellent, but the review for the most part is going to be about how it sounds on the SpinFits, because that's what I found it to sound the best for me. So let me bring in some other IEMs as well, because I will be doing some comparisons throughout the review. So let me get maybe the U4S, and I do want to talk about the Supernova themselves as well. It's the U4S. Oh, I'll take my camera, and the Supernova here. All right. So let's go bass mid ties, like always. The bass is nice, but not as nice as from what I'm hearing, you know, other reviews talking about it and like the way it's advertised. Because yes, this has a bone conduction driver, and it's a very active bone conduction driver, but I found the bass to be a little bit lacking in quality, to be honest. It's still solid. I wouldn't say it's bad, but I'm trying to get this like angled nicely. I wouldn't say it's bad, but I did find it to be a little bit not very tactile and not very it has a little, I don't want to say boom, it's a little bit of like, it's not a boomy bass, but it's a little bit of like softness to it. It doesn't hit as hard as I would expect in something that has, you know, a big emphasis in of like how the bass is supposed to be good quality. It is still very solid bass, but I've heard better. It's very similar in quality to me as the Supernova in terms of bass, to be honest. Maybe a little bit better than the Supernova, but it's around that area of quality. It's not as good as the U4S for me in bass. It has more bass than the U4S, but in terms of quality, I wasn't very impressed by the quality of the bass on the Legion. It is still good, still solid. $850. I expect a little bit better, especially with an emphasis in the bass. Going on to the mid range, though, that's where it is fantastic. I love the mid range on here. Vocals are smooth, clear, and forward. I know I just reviewed the Mystic 8. I don't have them with me anymore, but the Mystic 8 and these both have a very forward mid range. However, this goes, instead of for the brighter mid range that the Mystic 8 came with, it came with it's a warmer, darker sounding mid range that's still forward, and it's very soft, but not lacking detail, but very comfortable in terms of the vocals, and nothing harsh. Very beautiful mid range overall. Vocals fantastic, forward, and have the detail that I'm looking for. And overall, the tuning on these I love. These are fantastically tuned. It's similar to the Supernova's tuning in the dark, relatively like everything's laid out there. You know, there's not too much emphasis in the bass, not too much emphasis in the. There's actually a little bit. I'd say it's more mid actually heavy than flat necessarily, but it's not a huge emphasis. But there is a little bit more mid range than I would say the treble, and the treble is still also equally present with the bass. There's I'd say it's like bass and mid, the bass and treble pretty equal, and there's a slight bump where the mid range is and where the vocals are. But overall, tuning is balanced yet energetic, fun. I love these with the fun aspect of the sound. Very fun sounding set. Not the most technical, but it has solid technicalities either way. I won't say it's as detailed as the U4S, but I will say it's more detailed than the Supernova. I'm trying to think of an equally detailed set. Maybe the Phantom SE around there, but not like anything absolutely crazy in terms of detail, but it is solid for the price in terms of detail. It is where it needs to be. Not disappointing in the detail department. More detailed definitely than the Mystic 8. Going on to the treble. Now this is where the electric driver comes in, and actually where I have some problems. It is not bad treble. It is still solid, it is detailed, it extends without being harsh. But this timbre problem it has. When I first got it, I thought it was just an EST driver, honestly. I thought it was a Tribert, that's my cat. I thought it was an EST treble. You know, I thought I was gonna have a okay, let me I thought it had an EST in it that was for doing the treble, the upper treble. And because, you know, they actually advertise, well, I don't know if it's them exactly, but from what I'm seeing online, you say, oh, it's a Tribert with an EST driver for the treble. But, you know, I listened to it, and it has a slight metallic shimmer on the end of the treble, you know, on the upper frequencies. A slight, like, what do you call it? Metallic tang to it. And it was just not very satisfying and not very smooth in the upper treble regions. And I look it up, and it's not really an EST driver. It's an electric driver that I think it's a piezo driver. They don't say it, but I really think it is, especially by the shape of it. It's a circular driver, and it is not by like Sonion or Knowles. It's I think it's their own driver, or it's some other driver, but you can tell by the sound. I thought it was a Sonion when I bought it and listened to it, but not when I listened to it, when I bought it and had it in my hands. But then when I actually listened to it, I could tell this is not a Sonion EST driver. It doesn't sound like it, at least. It has a poor timbre to it that I'm really disappointed about, because this could have been so perfect if that driver was just better. Just a better quality driver. Come on. You know, it's an expensive set. You can put some Sonion ESTs in there. Anyway, here's another problem I have with the set now. With all of the praise I'm giving it, I'm actually not keeping these. I'm getting rid of them. Actually, I'm doing the review today because I'm getting rid of them tomorrow. It's the bone conduction drivers. I like the bass. It's still solid. It's not bad. As I said, I like the bass around the same or more than the Supernova, which is still a decent bass. But the driver is too active, the bone conduction driver. I don't know if they're using it for the mid-range or the bass, but it vibrates so much that it's actually uncomfortable for me. And at first I thought, oh, this is cool. It's really like, it's like, you know, shaking out my ears. I like it. But over time with using it, it got annoying over time. And I just didn't want to listen to these for too long because I didn't want my ears to be vibrating for like 2 hours, you know? Anything more than like 30 minutes to an hour, I'm like, I don't want my ears to keep shaking the whole time. And it's not very comfortable in the end. The actual size is quite big, as you can see here. It is actually a decent size, you know, chunky set, but it's actually very comfortable in the terms of the physical shaping of it. But the bone conduction driver, which I think is here, shakes so much, it's just not comfortable for me. And so that's why I'm letting it go. I mean, like, I love the set. I love the sound. The tuning is up there among my favorite tunings. But and even like the electric driver is not the worst thing in the world. Like the timbre problem is not huge. It's not the worst timbre I've heard. I've heard unbearably bad metallic timbre before. This is not that. It's just slightly not the best timbre I've heard. It's definitely usable in terms of timbre, but in terms of this vibration, it's not comfortable for me to use long term. So that's why I'm not keeping these. Now let's go on to soundstage and imaging. After, you know, that rant of the bone conduction, the soundstage is solid. It's very wide, which I really like, but it's not very tall. So it's got like a bit. It's wider than the Supernova. I'm trying to see if there's another IEM I have here with a similar width. Not really. It is it's around this. It's around the same width of the Phantom, but not the same height as something with like the U4S, or even, it's not even as tall as the Supernova, even though it's not really known for like height in terms of the stage. It's still a little bit like more two-dimensionally wide. It doesn't have the depth that I would expect in the forward and behind, and the height, and the height of the stage. But overall, it is still a very solid stage. Things can sound like they're coming from very far away for left and right. It is nice. I like the staging. Imaging is decent. It's not the best imaging in the world, but I'd say it's passable at this price range. It's not impressive. It's okay. It's solid. At this price point, it's okay. Overall, can I recommend the Legion? That is a very difficult question to answer, actually, in this case. If you can stand the shaking in your ear, absolutely. It's a fantastically tuned set that sounds very fun and very enjoyable. I would 100% keep these if it wasn't vibrating the way it is. Despite the slight timbre issues I have in the upper treble, it's not a big deal in reality. It's not a set ruiner, but the vibration for me is. Despite it being kind of its selling point, it's not for me. Anyway, that's about it. See ya.